To pilot a Tau battlesuit is not a privilege, it is a crucible of blood, fire, and relentless scrutiny. These towering suits of armor are a symbol of earned glory, its use bestowed only to those fire warriors who have bled, suffered, and clawed their way through the ranks of the fire caste. This path is not paved with honor alone, it is forged in the fires of countless campaigns and tempered by the screams of the fallen. Only after enduring several years of brutal warfare can a fire warrior hope to survive the grim process required to ascend. The ascent begins with the trial by fire, an ordeal designed to weed out weakness and expose the unworthy to their fate. Those who survive the slaughter are promoted to the rank of chasseurs, their status marked not by ceremony but by scars and whispered respect by their peers. These warriors, tempered by battle, are introduced to the shadow of war, donning the XV-15 or the XV-25 stealth suits. In these dark armors, they learn the art of ambush and subterfuge, operating as silent killers within the enemy's ranks. Those who falter in the shadows are left to rot in humiliation. Those who prevail ascend once more. The greatest trial yet comes with the right to wield the XV8 Crisis battlesuit, a machine of death that transforms its pilot into a living avatar of the greater good. To don such a suit is to embrace annihilation, for the weight of its system demands a mastery of warfare that few can achieve. Those who falter within the XV8 are crushed by its burdens, becoming fuels to the ever-turning cog of the Empire. Those who triumph ascend to the rank of chasseurs, leading their Crisis battlesuit teams into the teeth of the galaxy's endless horrors. The few who survive this crucible are granted the opportunity to take command of the XV-88 broadside battlesuits, engines of destruction whose devastating firepower is matched only by the grim stoicism required to pilot them. The weight of their role as a heavy fire support crushes the unworthy. But the survivors are forged into warriors who understand that every shot fired is a silent oath to the greater good. For those who endure this, the final steps await. They are summoned to serve as the personal bodyguards of Tau commanders, their ranks swelling with tales of their conquest. These warriors, veterans of countless wars, become chasseurs, wielding wargear tailored to their mastery on the battlefield. Yet even this is not the pinnacle. Only the greatest, those who turned back annihilation and carved victory from the bones of despair, ascend to the rank of chasseurs, becoming commanders of legend. The rarest and most exceptional among them are granted experimental war gear and unique battlesuits, prototypes forged in secrecy and wielded to rewrite the fate of an entire campaign. These weapons, bathed in the blood of countless enemies, become sacred relics within the Tau Empire, their deeds whispered in reverence and dread alike. Yet for every warrior who rises to the task of piloting a Tau battlesuit, 1,000 fail. Some are crushed under the weight of their own aspirations, their dreams extinguished by the fire they sought to command. Others embrace roles that, while necessary, offer no path of ascension, remaining as chasseurs, instructors of fire warrior squads, or as cadre fireblades, their lives spent teaching others to tread this deadly path. These warriors, while denied ascension, embody the grim resolve of the Tau fire caste, their sacrifice as a testament to the endless struggle of the greater good. And in the dark expanse of the galaxy where only war exists, we truly see the Tau Empire's grim darkness within the path of the Tau battlesuit pilot. It is a harrowing one, and few survive its demands. Those who do are not only simple warriors, they are legends, forged in flame and shadow, the embodiment of the Tau Empire's will to endure in a galaxy that's ready to consume any race. Now let's take a look at the XV-15 battlesuits in more detail. To don the XV-15 stealth suit is to embrace a role cloaked in shadow and blood, a path reserved for firecast warriors of chasseurs rank, who have proven their worth on the front lines as leaders of fire warrior squads. But the path of the stealthy warrior is not one of honor alone. It is a descent into the cold, unfeeling void of deception and calculated murder. The leaders of these units, chasseurs, are masters of deception, their minds twisted by the grim necessities of war. These grim operatives forge bonds of survival through the Talisar ritual, a shared oath painted upon their leader's armor as a knife, a grim promise to cut down the enemies and protect one another in the darkness. XV-15 stealth teams are not mere squads, but spectral hunters, ranging far ahead of the Tau war machine or lingering unseen in the shadows. They operate with an autonomy unheard of in the rigid ranks of the Firecast, answering to no one in the heat of battle. Cut off from command, these warriors make decisions that dictate life and death for themselves and the Empire itself, an unshackling that comes with a heavy toll. Those who take up the stealth suit are regarded as eccentric at best and dangerously unpredictable at worst. Yet these traits, mocked and mistrusted by others, become their greatest weapon, making Chasvray leaders legends of audacity and tactical brilliance. The mission of the XV-15 is as bleak as it is ruthless. These ghostly warriors emerge from the void to ambush isolated enemy squads, disrupt supply lines, or sow chaos deep behind enemy fronts. To their victims, they are unseen executioners, materializing from thin air with a torrent of gunfire before vanishing back into the murk. Like specters, they strike where they are least expected, leaving nothing but the echoes of their slaughter and the smoldering remains of their prey. But these shadows are never alone. XV-15 Chasvrays wield advanced tools of destruction. Marker lights to summon distance-seeking missile strikes, homing beacons to unleash their Crisis Battlesuit brethren upon helpless foes, and marker drones to paint their prey for the slaughter. Against foes such as the mindless hordes of orcs, the stealth team thin their ranks with their burst cannons, before calling down overwhelming annihilation from the skies. Every strike is calculated to unmake their enemy, their autonomy ensuring innovation that defies town norms. Yet the battlefield offers no sanctuary even for these spectral warriors. Once their ambush is sprung, XV-15 stealth teams rely on their jetpacks to vault from cover, evading return fire and reappearing elsewhere to sow further devastation. With the agility of savage predators, they pounce upon their enemies before retreating into the shadows, the chaos of their maneuvers leaving even the most disciplined foe disoriented and vulnerable. The XV-15 stealth suit itself is a grim marvel of Tau engineering, constructed from the same dense nanocrystalline alloy as the XV8 Crisis Battlesuit. It is less a tool and more of an extension of the wearer's will. Its holographic disruption field turns its pilot into a phantom, unseen and unassailable, while its integrated burst cannons tear through flesh and armor alike. The jetpack grants unparalleled mobility, allowing its wearer to descend slightly from the heavens to leap between cover with predatory precision. For the enemies of the Tau Empire, the XV-15 stealth suit is a harbinger of despair. Dropped from high-flying mantas or orcas, these silent killers descend from the skies like specters of doom, positioning themselves deep within enemy lines. By the time the foe realizes their presence, it is already too late. With overwhelming field of fire and perfect coordination, the stealth teams become an impenetrable web of death, each warrior a blade in the dark. For those who wear the XV-15, there is no glory or honor. Only the cold satisfaction of an enemy crippled and the whispered acknowledgement of their peers. In the grim darkness of this galaxy, they are the shadows that strike, the unseen hand that ensures the Tau Empire's survival amidst the unrelenting void of war. And now let's take a look at the XV8 Crisis Battlesuit.
The XV8 Crisis Battlesuit is the mainstay general combat Tau battlesuit utilized by the warriors of the Fire Caste. It mounts a vast array of fearsome ranged weaponry, as well as a complement of technologically advanced support systems on a small and agile frame that offers the Tau pilot exceptional protection. Of all the weapon systems employed by the Tau, the XV8 Crisis Battlesuit is easily the most distinctive and recognizable due to its reputation as an efficient and lethal weapon of war. The XV8 is a perfect balance between offensive capability, armor protection, speed, maneuverability, and utility. It is a towering battlesuit easily twice the size of that of a fire warrior. It is a wonder of the Earth caste engineering. Only the Tau could master the secrets of producing the dense nanocrystalline alloy that forms the thick protective armor of the XV8. When it comes to deflecting and withstanding damage, the XV8's armor is comparable to the ceramite used by the Imperium of Man's Space Marines. However, it does weigh substantially less. This Crisis suit is agile for its size. It has extremely maneuverability, and it mounts a jetpack with repulsor jet engines, another unique Earth-cast invention that combines the functionality of a jet with anti-gravity technology. These powerful thrusters allow the XV8 to vault battlefield obstacles and to make bounding leaps to gain advantageous firing positions, or to avoid incoming firepower. By firing off these jets to slow descent, it is possible for a warrior in an XV8 Crisis battlesuit to make a combat drop, arriving to the battlefield suddenly by leaping from an airborne orca or a manta transport. While its protective armor and mobility are highly valued, It is the ability of the XV8 battlesuit to carry multiple weapons and support system that makes them so incredibly dangerous and versatile. It is designed to compensate for the recoil of light weapons fire. The XV8's weapon loadout can easily be altered to reflect mission requirements or to the pilot's own personal preference. Additional upgrades, from multi-tracker fire control systems to homing beacons or shield generators, further enhance the fighting abilities of this impressive battlesuit. New tech improvements are made to the XV8 battlesuit all the time. However, its core aspect remains iconic and unchanged. The XV8 is the armored embodiment of the Tau Va. It is inspirational image blazoned on the Tau propaganda that holds from Frio Vos to Fal Shia, and even up on the distant worlds of the Farsight enclaves. To the Tau, the XV8 Crisis battlesuit is more than just a powerful weapon of war. It is a foremost symbol of great achievement, honor, and reputation. A symbol of everything the Firecast stands for, of ignorance and evil being crushed by the potent combination of technological supremacy and martial skill. Although the XV8 Crisis battlesuit is by far the most commonly deployed battlesuit in Tau armor, only those fire warriors who prove themselves in battle earn the right to wear it and bear the name of Sha Sui, the first honored rank that can pilot a battlesuit. To do so is a great honor, and it means the fire warrior has passed his first trial by fire after 4 years of service on the battlefield. This is the aspiration of every Firecast warrior, recognition of a mastery of the code of fire, and noble service to the greater good. XV8 Crisis battlesuits will often be found in combat where the fighting is thickest, and will take the brunt of any enemy attack, so that the rest of the Tau hunter cadre can advance or retreat. XV8s are usually deployed from Tau transport aircraft such as the Orca and Manta, where their jetpacks allow them to descend from high altitude safety. XV8 Crisis battlesuits commonly operate in teams of 3, called Ta Ro Cha in the Tau lexicon, 3 minds as 1, and they can be equipped for a variety of different battlefield roles. Many different fire warrior seps have developed their own battlesuit tactics, and their preferred weapon and support system loadarts are intended to enhance these proscribed tactics. These techniques are taught in each sep's military academies, where respected Shazvre pass on their knowledge. Some examples of these tactical formations include the Viorla Death Rain and Burning Eye configurations, or the Tau Fire Knife and Blinding Spear patterns. However, there are those XV8 pilots who have lost their team members and operate alone. These embittered Monat pilots often choose to undertake dangerous missions where the risks are extremely high, and will often be deployed to undertake tactically vital missions which they are not likely to survive. Such sacrifices are sometimes necessary in the pursuit of the greater good. In the dense street fights amidst the ruins of Dimbosa, the Tolku Sept employs lone Monat warriors in an XV8 Crisis battlesuit armed with a flamer and burst cannon, which proved to be the most effective means of driving the many Imperial Guard regiments out of their defensive barricades. And now here are a few known formations of these battlesuits. The Farstrike Battlesuit Force. The Tau way of war is in many aspects very different from that in the Imperium of Man. The starkest difference can be found in the Tau cast's willingness to make strategic withdrawals. Giving ground to the enemy when holding it would prove too costly. Despite this propensity, the Firecast acknowledges the sacrifices that must be made for the greater good. A Farstrike Battlesuit Force, also known to the Tau as the Mission Denial Force, is a group of battlesuit pilots that have volunteered for a mission they have little hope of surviving. On the eve of the battle, the warriors go before an ethereal and make a solemn promise that they will not withdraw until ordered to do so. This simple ceremony seals the pilots into a warrior brotherhood, where all are of equal status and rank, unbreakable even unto death. The operations of a Farstrike Battlesuit Force may be dispatched and commonly involve the capturing of a key enemy position prior to the main force of the Tau army breaking through enemy lines. The Tau do not hold ground simply for the sake of it, so the objective will be one of vital importance to their strategic aims. Often the target will be one that the Tau need to keep intact. Perhaps the Tau wish to capture an important individual or force the capitulation of a recalcitrant alien race to the greater good. Sometimes even they wish to leave a world's infrastructure intact and prevent the enemy from demolishing key sites as they retreat. The deployment of a mission denial force ensures that the Tau have the element of surprise. Even though it may cost the Firecast the lives of the Farsight Battlesuit Force members, this means that they are justified in the furtherance of the end that is the greater good. And now onto the Battlesuit operation. The pilots of the XV8 pilot to the Battlesuit through a neural link that connects the Fire Warrior's brain to the Battlesuit's control interface through a monofilament needle inserted through the back of the head. This disrupts the nervous system of the pilot and temporarily disconnects the body from the pilot's brain from the neck down. The Battlesuit control system then interprets movement signals from the pilot's brain as the movements of the Battlesuit's body, effectively making the Battlesuit's new pilot its new body. In theory, damage to the Battlesuit unit, whether it be through the lopping off of limbs, the firing of bullets, electrocution, burning, or even the beheading of the primary optic sensor, will not cause pain or discomfort to the pilot inside. However, veteran Battlesuit pilots have been known to develop horror ada tchel, which are sympathetic ghost pains and phantom reactions to external damage. This condition is also known as Battlesuit neurosis and can cause serious problems in the life of Battlesuit pilots outside of their Battlesuit. And now onto the wargear of the XV8. The Crisis Battlesuit has 3 hardpoints, which means that any combination of up to 3 weapons and combat support systems can be mounted. All Tau Battlesuit weapon systems are fully integrated and supplied by continuous high-yield power relays and ammunition hoppers. XV8 Crisis Battlesuits are also designed with advanced recoil absorption technology, meaning that they can fire their weapons at maximum capacity and with maximum accuracy, even when on the move. XV8 pilots of the rank of Chasvray or higher can also take a limited amount of Battlesuit wargear. Combat support systems listed as hardwired are cybernetic in nature and are either entirely contained within the Battlesuit helmet or are implanted within the Fire Warrior's body as warrior jewelry and cannot be removed without surgery. Special issue items and signature weapon systems are experimental or hard to mass produce, and are currently undergoing field testing prior to becoming widely available. As such, their distribution is usually limited to 1 per hunter cadre. Signature systems like Battlesuit wargear can only be taken by Battlesuit pilots of Chasvray or higher. Any XV8 Crisis Battlesuit can also be accompanied by up to 2 Tau drones in battle, such as gun, shield, or marker drones. The weapons of the Tau include the air-bursting fragmentation projector, a burst cannon, a cyclic ion blaster, a flamer, a fusion blaster, a missile pod, and a plasma rifle. Some of the combat support systems include an advanced targeting system, a counter-fire defense system, a drone controller, an early warning override, a positional relay, shield generator, stimulant injector, target lock, targeting array, vectored retro thrusters, and the velocity tracker. And now here are a few of the more versatile and highly used armament variations of the XV8. The Death Rain configuration is 3 chasseurs with twin-linked missile pods, a drone controller, and 2 gun drones. The Sun Forge configuration, 3 chasseurs with twin-linked fusion blasters and shield generators. The Burning Eye configuration, a Chasvray and 2 chasseurs with twin-linked plasma rifles and target locks, and the Monat configuration, which is 1 Chasvray, a drone controller, and 2 gun drones, and can be equipped with whatever the situation needs. And this is the variant that I personally use in my 40k battles. It had always done a great job of dealing damage, and it is pretty good overall. It is the Fire Knife configuration. It consists of 3 chasseurs equipped with a plasma rifle and a missile pod.
Now with the 2 most common battlesuits done, let's take a look at the 8. Marvel Comics has the Avengers, DC has the Justice League, Dragon Ball Z has the Z Fighters, but when it comes to Warhammer 40k, we have the 8. An elite squad of fearless Tau warriors armed with the Tau Empire's strongest battlesuits. And what makes the 8 so similar to all of the other all-star teams of the other universes is the essence they embody. Because although they are a Tau battlesuit strike team, they don't fight for the Tau Empire. They are rebels operating out of the Farsight enclaves, risking their lives in some of the galaxy's most dangerous battles, not for the greater good, but for the safety of the Tau race. And that's what we're going to talk about today in another episode of 40 Facts About the 40K Universe. If you're new to the channel, allow me to introduce myself. I am your host, Gersh1. I will be your shepherd through the wilds of Warhammer 40K, so if you want to learn more about this grimdark universe, subscribe to the channel. And for the entire month, I will be celebrating Taucember, an entire month dedicated to the lore of the Tau. So if you have any questions or suggestions about the most popular and well-liked faction in 40K, please comment down in the comment section below. And if you enjoy this type of content, do me a huge favor and shoot a couple of plasma rounds at the like button so that I know to focus on the 40 Facts videos and so that you can get more Tau Empire lore. But with all that said, let's get into 40 Facts and lore on the 8. The members of the 8 are no ordinary warriors. They are veterans of the Tau Empire that have cast off the shackles of the ethereal control and joined the righteous quest of the great commander Farsight deep in the Forbidden Zone. Although led by Oshova himself, each one of these warriors is a capable commander that wanders throughout the Farsight enclave, offering their military genius to the isolated Tau factions in the wilds of space. They truly are like the Ronin of ancient Terran legends. When these heroes unite, there is no denying their incredibly powerful ability to inspire other troops with their purest sense of the Tau warrior spirit. Entire cadres fight like hell with the simple mention of the legendary 8. Even those within the Tau Empire are emboldened by the tales of these masters. They are a testament that no foe is too great and no fight so desperate that victory cannot be seized. Each one of them carries a long and glorious history that everyone within the Forbidden Zone praises. So let's begin with the tale of Commander Bravestorm, a warrior whose faith in Oshova is so strong he would not hesitate to sacrifice his own life in order to save that of Farsight's. Bravestorm was already a highly decorated hero during the Damocles Gulf Crusade, when the Imperium of Man assaulted the expanding Tau Empire. As an XV8 Crisis Battlesuit pilot, he stoically fought in the defense of the greater good, knowing well that humanity was like no other enemy that the Tau had ever faced. In response to the deadly armored regiments of the Imperial Guard that were extremely difficult for the Firecast to handle, the engineers of the Tau Empire, known as the Earthcast, were commissioned by Farsight himself to implement the experimental Onager Gauntlets, a Tau battlesuit close combat weapon that charged an immense payload of potential energy into the fist of the battlesuit and then released it into the highly armored enemies. 12 pilots were chosen, Bravestorm being one of them, and the design proved to be extremely effective. The warriors were able to punch a hole straight through the side of an Imperial main battle tank and rip out its power core with ease. However, the damage the system would cause the pilots, in addition to the riskiness of these missions, caused severe casualties. And during the battle at Black Thunder Mesa, where Commander Bravestorm took out over a dozen Imperial tanks, he was unfortunately critically damaged. Unwilling to lose such a great hero, Farsight turned to the Earthcast engineers, who modified Bravestorm's trusty battlesuit with a life support system and entombed the great warrior inside this suit. Out of the 12 original recipients of the gauntlet, only Bravestorm survived. He followed his commander even after rebelling against the Tau Empire, and is now one of the most powerful melee warriors of the 8, capable of crushing a Space Marine with one single blow. Next, we move on to Commander Brightsword, another member of the 8 that fought alongside Farsight for many years and whose military history stretches as far back as the Tau Empire's Second Sphere expansion. It was during these wars that Brightsword created a grim reputation for himself. As commander of the Tau forces assigned to conquer the Imperial world of Nimbosa, Brightsword showed no mercy. Because of his relentless battlefield tactics, his initial ground assault completely destroyed the 9th Volstraean Firstborn Regiment at the Battle of Polia. The Imperium responded with an aggressive counterattack that the cunning Tau commander anticipated. His forces were able to defeat the guardsmen with ease, and when presented with the captured soldiers, Brightsword ordered his troops to take no prisoners, and the humans were entirely slaughtered. The shock of such a ruthless action stunned the Imperial commanders, and it even alarmed the Ethereals. For this unusually evil tactic that tarnished the teachings of the greater good, Brightsword was summoned back to Tau. As word of the Koloth Gorge massacre spread throughout other Imperial worlds, the Tau Watercast feared that it would create significant diplomatic issues with more and more human worlds, and could even spark an unnecessary full-scale war with the Imperium of Man. Because of this, the Tau Watercast secretly helped the 13th Penal Legion to assassinate Commander Brightsword. This traitorous plot, orchestrated in the hopes of preserving good relations with the Imperium, was pointless, as the Damocles Gulf Crusade was declared by the Imperium not long after, and the Imperial forces mercilessly attacked the Tau Empire. It was on the Sept world of Daleth that a new Tau commander took on the title of Brightsword. The reappearance of this notorious and inspiring Firecast leader, who struck fear into the hearts of humanity, invigorated the Tau forces as they valiantly resisted the Imperial invasion. From that point forward, Brightsword became an undying warrior, whose title is taken on by a new commander after each death. In the aftermath of the Damocles Crusade, the Tau forces consolidated their grip over the worlds wrestled back from Imperial control. During this time, the Tau colony of Arkunasha was threatened by a violent Orc crusade known as Wog-Dok. Commander Oshova himself rose to the challenge of defending the Tau Sept world that was now overrun by the Greenskins. Farsight understood that in order to fight such a savage army, he would need an equally remorseless commander. This became the first major war Brightsword would fight directly under the command of Farsight. Since then, a total of 7 commanders have taken on the name Brightsword, each one of them choosing to fight for Oshova. What many don't know is that each one of these warriors that becomes the legendary commander is not a volunteer, but rather a clone of the original commander Brightsword. In this way, he truly is the never-dying member of the Eight. Another historic member of the Eight is Commander Shavastos, the first Tau to be fitted with the Sword of Puretide, a neurochip developed during the Damocles Gulf Crusade by the Earthcast at the request of the Ethereals. It gave the wearer all of the recorded military strategies of the legendary Tau leader, Commander Puretide. Shavastos was already a decorated and fearless commander whose success on the battlefield earned him a friendship with Commander Farsight. The neurochip was supposed to extend this military genius and make him better, and it proved to be very successful during the Damocles Gulf Crusade, where Shavastos enjoyed victory after victory against the invading Imperial troops. But once Imperial Psychers entered the fray, every commander implanted with the Sword of Puretide faltered in the face of this new threat. The neurochip did not allow warriors to draw upon any of their own previous strategic knowledge, causing these commanders to give out confusing and inadequate orders that cost the Tau hundreds of lives. Because of this, the Ethereals ordered every recipient of the Sword of Puretide to be lobotomized and the chip forcibly removed. Dozens of seasoned cadre fireblades and commanders were reduced to drooling and docile simpletons, a painful cost of victory in the eyes of all the Tau. Luckily for Commander Shavastos, Oshova stepped in and had the commander spirited away right before his lobotomy. Because the neurochip suffered rapid degeneration and would more than likely kill Shavastos, he was placed inside of a stasis pod until the appropriate technology was created to safely remove the neurochip. Decades after his great sleep, a method of recalibrating the Sword of Puretide was created and the old commander was reawakened. Cured of this neurochip curse, Shavastos is now one of the supreme military minds of the Eight, once again in control of a Crisis battlesuit and fighting alongside his great friend Commander Farsight. Another member of Farsight's elite honor guard with an incredible military mind is Commander Arakon, a warrior born and raised within the Forbidden Zone. His pride in the independence of the Farsight enclaves burns hotter than the volcanoes of his homeworld of Yorlos. Rising through the ranks of Oshova's forces, he eventually became the one commander trusted by Farsight to take his place in his absence. While Commander Farsight launched a hunt for the Orc war boss Iron Teeth, Arakon successfully led the rest of the Farsight expedition, using his highly analytical mind to liberate and consolidate world after world. He has extensively upgraded his battlesuit to operate as a perfect infantry-killing machine. Guardsmen and Greenskin forces have learned to fear the sight of this powerful warrior on the battlefield. The strangest member of the Eight is the broadside Oblatai 90, an artificial intelligence imprinted with the mind of the legendary Oblatai, the famous battlesuit pilot that mentored the young Farsight on his journey to greatness. As an AI engram, the broadside battlesuit has all of the cognitive information of the once living Tau commander, but none of the organic parts. No one outside of the Eight and their attendants know of this secret. But despite his lack of flesh and blood, Oblatai 90 is a master at supplying the rest of the team with deadly accurate support fire, but more importantly, the strategic mind of a soldier with the wisdom thousands of years old. Out of the Eight, the youngest member of the team is Sub-Commander Torchstar, a skilled battlesuit pilot that defected from the Tau Empire and made a name for herself within the Farsight Enclave for her stylized use of flamers in battle. It's hard not to call her a pyromaniac, as her love of fire extends outside of the battlefield. Torchstar is covered in fire tattoos, and her energy and demeanor is described as fiery. She continues to make a name for herself amongst the elite honor guard and shows an above-average understanding of Tau military tactics. Now, one of the oldest colleagues of Farsight and a warrior that showcases the fundamental necessities of engineers within any military force is the honored Xv8 Ovesa, also known as the Stone Dragon. Ovesa is not a fire warrior. He is one of the few Earth-caste engineers that has been given the honor of piloting a battlesuit, and not just any battlesuit, but the deadly XV8 Riptide. The Stone Dragon rightfully earned this privilege because without him, the 8 wouldn't exist. It is Ovesa that entombed Commander Bravestone within his battlesuit. He creates and maintains the many clones of Commander Brightsword. Ovesa cracked the code of the Puretide neurochip that saved and revived Shavastos. He helped progress the late generation engram of Oblatai 90 and has improved the anti-infantry and fire support systems of Ericon and Torchstar. His masterful mind is also what is to thank for his own long life. Ovesa invented life-extending micro-drones that keep him alive despite being hundreds of years old. He also modified his Riptide with many of his AI inventions that compensate for his lack of fire warrior training and experience in battle. But most important of all is his close bond with Commander Farsight, who has been his leader and friend since the Damocles Gulf Crusade. And the last member of the 8 is obviously Oshova himself, the rebel leader of the Farsight Enclave and a legendary hero known throughout the Tau Empire despite all of the negative propaganda laid out against him. To the Tau, Commander Farsight is a true figure of folklore. He bravely defended his charge during the Damocles Crusade, and his leadership has kept his people alive and prospering within the Forbidden Zone. He is a warrior that deserves a video all on his own.
Specks of black iron sand ricochet off the blood-red armor of Oshova as he stands stoically, staring off into the distance.
I know you're there, Oshasera. There is no hiding here,
Farsight says as 2 blasts of superheated plasma shoot out of the nothingness. The renegade of the Enclaves blocks both shots with a shield generator. The black sands shift as the invisible warrior repositions herself for another attack, but Farsight's battlesuit tracks this movement. 3 shots from his plasma rifle unload. A small explosion erupts, but the debris is far too small.
a drone.
And just as Farsight realizes this, a barrage of missiles rain down on him. Direct hit, but out from the obsidian smoke, Farsight ignites his jetpack and launches into the air. With a mighty slash of his Dawnblade, another explosion rings out. This time, it's one of the mechanical arms of the XV8 stealth suit. Shadow Sun's camo field flickers on and off, revealing her angered face. They clash over and over again in an aerial battle, but the Dawnblade inches closer and closer to a death blow with every swing. Farsight then takes the upper hand as he kicks her back down to the black sands. He rushes in, sword at the ready, and manages to impale her. However, Shadowsun had ejected at the last second. A bright blue explosion enveloped Farsight as Shadowsun had set her fusion blaster to overheat. Farsight's XV8 Crisis suit is torn apart. Half of its chassis melted down, revealing the fire warrior inside. Shadowsun walks up, pulse pistol in hand, and places the muzzle on Farsight's head. However, Farsight was repositioning his plasma blaster. In unison, they speak.
For the greater good.
What's up, guys? Sound Alchemist here to finish up Tau Sember with another grim dark battles. This time we've got 2 of the commanders who were taught under the tutelage of Puretide, and now they're being pit against one another. Who will come out on top? Commander Farsight, the renegade, or the hero of the greater good, Commander Shadowsun? Both of these warriors have fought before in grim dark battles, but never against one another. Now, if you've never heard of grim dark battles, basically what it is a battle that is decided based on the lore, weapons and war gear, as well as the community vote, and even on the tabletop. So place your bets, and let's dive right in by analyzing the patient hunter, Shadowsun. Trained by the legendary Commander Puretide, O'Shassera has led the Tau Empire to many victories, such as halting an Orc invasion or stalling the Imperium long enough until they leave to take on a bigger threat. She has survived an assassination attempt by a Calidus assassin, as well as killing the former chapter master of the Raven Guard, Severax. During the 5th Sphere expansion, Shadowsun and her forces reunited with the Lost Tau and fought against the Death Guard to a stalemate. All these accomplishments and more have earned her the title of Supreme Commander of the Tau Empire. Now with that being said, let's take a look at her weapons and wargear. Recently, GW has released a new model for Shadowsun during the events of the Psychic Awakening, and with that, she has a few new upgrades to her armaments. Her XV8 Stalker Battlesuit allows her to utilize a flechette launcher, a light missile pod, high energy fusion blaster, a dispersed fusion blaster, and even a pulse pistol. Her firepower has gone up dramatically as she has so many weapons to fire at range. But that's not all. She also brings a few drones into battle with her as well. One grants her a reroll to hit on a roll of 1, one gives her a -1 to hit via her camouflage field, and she also has an advanced Guardian drone which gives her a 4-up invuln save and a 6-up feel no pain, which really comes in handy. But Farsight's suit in general is a little bit tougher and he has more wounds. But will that be enough? Let's find out by looking into the lore and armaments of Commander Farsight. O'Shova, or better known as Farsight, was once called the hero of the Tau Empire. Time and time again, he led the Firecast to victory after victory, be it against the brutish orcs or the prideful humans of the Imperium. This sounds pretty familiar, as he too was taught under the ways of war from Commander Puretide, alongside that of Shadowsun. He specialized in fighting orcs and even wrote a book of the Beast, a tome that taught other fire warriors about orc psychology and battle doctrines in order to better understand these orcs and more easily best them in war. With his killing blow way of warfare, he became a beacon of hope for the Tau, until the incident on Arthas Malak. On this artifact world, the Tau fought against the forces of chaos, and very few Tau survived. With the ethereals that were accompanying Farsight now dead, Farsight turned away from the greater good and created his own breakaway faction, the Enclaves, leaving this world with a mysterious blade in hand. Together with 8 famed Tau commanders, Farsight has continued to fight for his people in his own way, apart from the teachings of the governing ways of the ethereals. He too has survived an Imperial assassin attack, and has most combat experience out of any Tau, since he has lived far past the average lifespan of any Tau, due to his Dawnblade. On the tabletop, the Dawnblade is a Strength +3, AP -4, D3 damage weapon of war. Together with his high-intensity plasma rifle, he is able to dish out damage both in close and at range. Just like Shadowsun, Farsight also has a 4-up invuln save, but it comes from his shield generator and not from a drone. Lastly, he is able to reroll 1s in melee when rolling to hit. And now, with all this being said, let's go ahead and find out who is the victor of this grim dark battles. Let's start off by looking at the community poll. So this poll I asked about 2 weeks ago and it got over 1,000 votes. And the winner, with 74% of the vote, is Commander Farsight. Usually with these polls, it ends up being a one-sided popularity contest, and Farsight has always been pretty well liked since his playstyle revolves around battlesuits, and battlesuits is what draws people to play the Tau. A lot of people that play Tau are weebs, so I guess we have weebs to thank for Farsight winning the popularity poll. Next up, we have the tabletop battle. Here I did a best 2 out of 3 match between these two commanders in a 24-inch square with no terrain. This ensures that there is at least one turn of firing ranged weapons before the close combatness can begin. And of course, 40k is a game of luck and probability, since we are rolling dice to figure out who will win, so this doesn't always mean that the victor of this 2 out of 3 match will always be the victor. But with that being said, Game 1 had Shadowsun outshoot Farsight and killed him on turn 2 before he can get into close combat. The combo of light missile pod and high energy fusion blaster did tons of damage thanks to a few missed invulnerable saves from Farsight. Game 2 had Farsight barely getting into melee. With only one wound remaining, he ended up taking Shadowsun with his Dawnblade. So we could see that at range, Shadowsun is better. However, if Farsight manages to get into close combat, his sword will cleave through her. So with one win apiece, we went down to the final game, and it ended up being a repeat of Game 1. Shadowsun just has way too many ranged weapons at her disposal, and a 4-up invuln isn't enough to save you from these attacks, and at the end of the day, Commander Shadowsun is just a better model on the tabletop. With this victory, we currently are Farsight 1, Shadowsun 1, and we have the deciding factor in this grimdark battle, which comes down to the lore. Now Oshova and Oshasera are both prodigies of war. Both have led countless victories against many opponents, but in my opinion, Farsight takes the win because he is the better fighter and tactician due to his experience and long life. The Dawnblade has allowed him to experience life outside of ethereal control, and thus he's able to experience many more things than Shadowsun. He has fought against various other races, experienced tactics unbound by the teachings of the greater good, and he's even seen the threat of chaos and the Tyranids, something that the Ethereals basically overlook. Now Shadowsun also has lived a long life, but that's because she has been placed in stasis for multiple years until her brilliant mind is needed on a campaign. Her actions, battles, weapons, and wargear are all given to her by the Ethereals, thus it's all contained by what they deem is acceptable. So due to his life-stealing sword, the Dawnblade, his unorthodox battle tactics, and his freedom, I gotta give this victory to Farsight. Let me know down in the comments if you guys agree or disagree with me and why. I mean, the Tau are right around the corner to getting their brand spanking new 9th edition codex, and maybe that's going to shift the way that the Tau play. Maybe Farsight's going to be a better matchup against Shadowsun. Who knows? I mean, like I said, anything can change. When you roll dice, you never know what's going to happen for sure. But I'm super excited to maybe replay the one-on-one battle on the tabletop to see if Farsight really did improve in 9th edition with the new Tau Codex. But as always guys, thank you again for watching, commenting, leaving a like, and being subscribed. Happy Tau-sember, and I'll be seeing you guys in the next one. Peace.
Always used to put my freedom first in any situation.